I have a lot of books, each with their own purpose and story. This book, for instance, is my illustration journal. Whenever a change happens in my life or a funny event, I draw it out here. And this is my journal, as basic an idea as journaling gets. The trend continues. I have different books for poetry, for stories, for musings, for observations. The closest thing I found to a Commonplace book is this traveler's notebook. And the reason for that is because you can have a few different inserts going at once, and then all of the ideas that I want in different places can fit within one place. The problem? There's still this lingering discontent with separation. When an insert is done, it's removed, and with it, the spirit of the traveler's notebook. The insert then just becomes this nothing, this lost reference book. I made a whole video about this idea, which I'll link in the description if you want to check it out. I have countless pocket notebooks, all with the same idea of being an everyday carry, which I would fill up in a month if I didn't restrict my musings. This all becomes a lot to carry, a lot to store, and a lot to reference. All this to say, I think I have now found the most efficient Commonplace book solution for myself, and that is in the form of this e-ink tablet, otherwise known as the ReMarkable 2. I can finally have all of that's in my head and put it into one location that should never get lost or misplaced or be unknown to reference. While making this video, I was flipping through one of these field notes journals. For the most part, a Commonplace book is something that holds all of your ideas throughout a span of time, and it's more like dates. I have so many of these that it's almost impossible to go back through and try to reference anything that I've jotted down. These notebooks are great, how beautiful they are, how perfect it feels to put pen to paper. But unfortunately, in our fast-paced lives of fast-paced brains, this and the ideas within it get lost to time. I could never grasp the idea of a Commonplace book because eventually it all gets lost. Now, I have nothing against things getting lost. The idea of impermanence can sometimes be a good thing. For instance, with this, I, at the click of a button, could press any of these folders and immediately delete it. I wouldn't feel sad or bad about that. I think I would just let it go. Now, with all the disorganization and randomness that comes with my notebooks, I've never been good at that, at cataloging things. And that all kind of changed once I got the ReMarkable 2, and for the last 6 months, pretty dedicated to writing only in this. And I want to show you how I set it up, what's inside, and my basic thought process to what goes into the book and what doesn't. As you can see, it's a pretty simple and organized looking format. All of the folders get cataloged up top, and then any quick sheets, things that I want to reference fairly quickly, or that I'm working on the most recently, I just put right here without creating a folder for them. As much as I like paper, the archaic feel, the sound, the smell, the way the ink glides, I also like gear, and I like pieces of technology that propel a mission or an adventure forward. And this, with its cognac colored folio case, this feels like I'm some sort of scholar or researcher, someone in the field who has just this in their backpack, and it has everything in here, all of their notes, all of their discoveries. This template is just so beautiful. I have this trip 2024 list, and it basically has a list of everything that I'm going to need for the upcoming trip that I'm taking. Honestly, if I were to write it in a book, eventually I'd keep writing in that book, and then that list would get further and further down the pages of the book, and it would be annoying to have to try to flip through it to find where I put the list, unless I put it on a separate... Another 2 sheets I have here are basic quick sheets, and that is a landfill, if you will, of ideas. Then I have this 3rd quick sheets, which is important notes, and that is the most similar to a Commonplace book. I will jot down songs that I want to look up. I have different ideas that I might want to embark on in a later place. More ideas of things that I might want to film or talk about. The archives folder is really fantastic because a lot of these other folders were getting pretty crowded with files and notebooks, things that I wasn't using anymore, so I just created that simple archive folder. The art folder is basically just that, and the art section is actually what got me really started into using the ReMarkable 2. I wanted to draw, but I didn't want to waste a bunch of pages making mistakes, so I thought I'll just grab the ReMarkable and start doodling here. I wound up really enjoying the form factor. The rest is history. I kind of never looked back. Another important file I have is fiction and nonfiction, and that is basically the creative works I'm working on. I have some essays down here, just kind of thought-provoking ideas. I have my book here. So far I'm only on chapter 1. I have a scripts and video folder, and that's everything you see on the screen starts right there. Health notes is really great because I was actually looking for a notebook to write some health notes, and I thought, well, let me just create a folder on the ReMarkable 2. It doesn't have to be cumbersome. It can just be its own little thing, and I'll keep that there and reference it only when I need it. And again, it won't get lost in the depths of a random notebook. And then I have my journal here. As you can see, I've organized it by month and date. What I found actually with journaling on the ReMarkable 2 as opposed to a paper journal is that I'm actually having a bit more philosophical thoughts. It's very strange, and I don't know why that is. I'm still using the handwriting function when I do journal on the ReMarkable 2. For some reason on paper, my ideas come out muddled, they come out messy, they come out very rushed, like I don't want to do it. Handwriting on the ReMarkable 2, I start to go down these rabbit holes of thoughts, which is quite an interesting side note. And I wonder if it is the idea of not wasting paper, that I can just like truly dig deep and be as freeform as possible, and that sort of liberation. Anyway, just a little wondering, I don't know if anybody else has experienced something like this. It's similar to what I've experienced when I'm typing, just food for thought. And I suppose that's it with the ReMarkable 2. What I love is that the creation of any notebook is so instantaneous. With just the click of a quick sheets button, you're in. And what I really love is that in a moment, you are transformed into typing. That is how I'm handling my Commonplace book setup for the year. I no longer see these pocket notebooks as being a mainstay. I see these more as being supplemental. If I am going somewhere where I can't bring the ReMarkable 2, then a pocket notebook will be my next go-to. But I like using this thing every day. It works for me. I like everything being in one location. Should I ever have to reference anything going forward, I know exactly where it is and I know how to access it. So that's it. That's all for my setup video, what is in my Commonplace book of 2024. If you like this video, hello, feel free to give it a thumbs up or subscribe if you like content like this. If not, goodbye. Have a great journey on this thing called YouTube. But that's it. That's all for this one. That's I do have an outing I kind of strayed a little bit. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I will be seeing you.